Hey, what is up YouTube? Welcome back to another YouTube video. My name is Orly, and in today's video we're gonna be discussing cardio, more specifically running. I don't normally do these kinds of videos. Well, I've never really done a video on cardio before because I'm more of a gym junkie myself. Most of my fitness routine consists of resistance training, lifting heavy weights in a gym. But I do a little bit of cardio as well, and I do feel like cardio can be really demonized in the fitness space, especially in the gym fitness space. Like, I feel like a lot of people don't really like cardio, and yeah, there's always this debate about, resistance training being better than cardio, but one is not necessarily better than the other. They just offer different benefits. But that aside, in today's video I want to focus more on how to get good at running and how to make it, I guess, suck less. Okay, number one, get familiar with your why. Your why is a reason why you want to do this in the first place. Your why is your motivator, the thing that's going to get you out of bed, outside, running when you might not necessarily feel like it. So I would recommend focusing more on the health benefits of running and cardio rather than doing it just for burning calories or weight loss. Okay, so I've decided to move away and find a different spot to record because I was getting interrupted every 5 minutes. So I was saying that cardio, not necessarily running, any type of cardio that you do, which basically increases your heart rate and maintain that heart rate elevated for an extended period of time, is going to develop some fitness adaptations that resistance training alone doesn't achieve the same adaptations. What I'm talking about here is your aerobic fitness. Aerobic fitness is basically your body's ability to deliver oxygen to different tissues and muscles in your body. Okay, so this means that your heart has to do less work over time to deliver oxygen to your body, because your body has become really good at delivering oxygen to different parts of your body. This is what aerobic fitness does. People with better aerobic fitness tend to live longer, and they tend to suffer less cardiovascular issues and diseases. There's also the mental health benefits as well, such as improved mood, reduced stress, etc. Secondly, developing better aerobic fitness is going to make daily movement a lot more easy. So think about things like walking up a flight of stairs or walking uphill, carrying the shopping from your car to your house, or stuff like that generally, elevate your heart rate. Things like that is going to feel a lot easier when you have better aerobic fitness. You're gonna feel so much better and so much fitter. You're not gonna feel, like you need to be on a ventilator every time you walk up a flight of stairs. Try to focus on those things rather than focusing on weight loss and burning calories. Exercise is not a very good way of achieving a calorie deficit. If you think about it, running or cycling or doing the elliptical for 30 minutes, that might only burn 200 to 300 calories. Okay, and the harder you do it, the more calories you'll burn, but that is not quite the point. The point is you're going to have to do a lot of work and really work really hard in order to just burn 300 calories. And you can literally eat these 300 calories in the space of 5 minutes. So you can see here that doing cardio just to burn calories can be really discouraging, because it's not going to lead to substantial weight loss, or it's not going to cause that number on the scale to change very much. And that can be really discouraging for a lot of people, okay? And it's just taking the joy out of it, really. Focus on how it makes you feel. Focus on how, your improved fitness level. Focus on the health benefits, and it's going to be more encouraging and more motivating to keep going that way. Okay, so another thing that you want to consider is your running intensity. So running intensity is how challenging or how hard your run feels in general. Running intensity can be divided into heart rate zones, and there's zone 1 to zone 5. Zone 1 is when you're just walking around, not even brisk walking, just a nice gentle walk, okay? That's going to slightly elevate your heart rate above your resting heart rate, okay? And that is not going to feel challenging at all. Then after that, you have zone 2. Zone 2. Zone 2 is a slightly elevated heart rate, okay? And this is what you achieve when you go for a slow pace, steady pace run or bike ride or anything like that. Then you have zone 3, which is even elevated, and zone 3 is still going to be a steady run, but it's slightly elevated intensity, and it's going to be a little bit more uncomfortable, I suppose. Now zone 2 feels really comfortable. Zone 2 should not feel challenging at all, okay? Zone 2 should feel good. You should even be able to have a proper conversation in zone 2, whereas in zone 3 you won't really be able to have an elaborate conversation. You might be able to say a few words at a time, and it's going to feel a little bit more uncomfortable. Zone 4 is a much higher elevated heart rate, and zone 4 is much higher intensity, and you can generally sustain a zone 4 heart rate for about 3 minutes. After that, you'll need to, slow down, to rest, to recuperate. Zone 5 is your maximal effort running, okay? So this is your sprinting really, really fast. You're giving everything you have, okay? And zone 5 can generally be maintained for about 30 seconds max. It's really high intensity. After 30 seconds, you're not gonna be able to sustain that same pace anymore, and you're gonna need to stop, okay? So which intensity should you choose? Honestly, if you're first starting out, you should focus on zone 2, okay? Zone 2 should feel comfortable. It's a slightly elevated heart rate, but it should feel comfortable. And this is where most of your running should be in. It should be in zone 2. One of the mistakes that I made initially when I started running is I thought that if I had to push myself in order to get better at running, but this actually it doesn't work that way, okay? The majority of those aerobic fitness adaptations that I was talking about before, the majority of that happen in zone 2, not in zone 3. What tends to happen in zone 3, you tend to get fatigued a lot quicker, and you can't maintain your run for long enough to develop those fitness adaptations. So it's a lot better to stay in zone 2, and this is what's going to help you develop those aerobic fitness adaptations as well, okay? Okay, so this is editing Aurelie here. I just forgot to mention this, that in order to remain in zone 2, you may need to alternate between running and walking, especially if you're a beginner and you haven't yet developed that aerobic fitness and endurance. It's okay to walk. Sometimes you do need to do that in order to maintain your heart rate within zone 2. So think about your running environment. So the environment in which you do an activity will impact the quality and how much you enjoy doing that activity, right? So imagine running on a busy road, you're inhaling, fumes from cars and stuff. It's really loud, it's really hot. That is not a very nice environment to run in, and that is going to impact your enjoyment of running. Personally, if I had to run under these conditions, I would not enjoy running. So what would you prefer? Running in that kind of environment, or would you prefer running in a nice park with lots of greeneries, with lots of birds, lots of scenery to look at? Which one of those is more, nicer? Which one is more enjoyable? So try to run in an environment that, number one, feels safe to you, and number two, is a nice environment, okay? For me personally, I really like to run in this park here behind my house. It's a really nice park, nice greenery, very beautiful parks, really peaceful. It's not super busy. It's really nice environment for me to run in, and that really plays a role in my enjoyment of running. I wouldn't say I would enjoy running as much if I had to run on a busy road or if I had to run on a treadmill. You know, I would get really bored if I had to run on a stationary, you know, treadmill or something like that. So think of your running environment and try to make it as pleasant as possible. That not only include where you run, but things like the weather as well. Running in hot and humid weather will make your run suck, okay? Because when it's hot and humid, your heart has to work a lot harder to move blood around your body. So it's going to make everything a lot harder and it's just not gonna be very nice. So I try to run early in the morning when it's more quiet as well, but also the temperature is a lot cooler. It's more, you know, it's not as humid. It's a nice temperature, nice sunshine as well. The sun is not super harsh on my skin, and it just makes the experience a lot, you know, more enjoyable and nicer. Speaking of running environment, that also includes the terrain on which you run on as well. So the terrain is the type of ground surface that you run in. So be aware that running on concrete or asphalt is going to be a lot more tough on your joints, okay? So that might lead to some more pain and stuff like that in your joints, whereas running on a softer surface like a trail, for example, like a running trail, it's a lot softer on your joints and it just makes it a lot nicer to run on as well, which is what I found personally. But the other thing you want to do is make sure you're avoiding hills, especially if you're starting out, okay, and you haven't developed that level of cardio aerobic fitness yet. Okay, I would suggest avoiding hills because hills are just gonna make your run significantly harder and it's just going to suck. Okay, so of course, once you've developed, you know, sufficient aerobic fitness and endurance, you can try different, like training in different zones. You can try a little bit of zone 3, zone 4, a little bit of, you know, interval training as well. But still, zone 2 should constitute most of the majority of your run and cardio, okay? And the other zones should only constitute 20%. But that's when you are, you know, that's when you love running. That's when you have developed that aerobic base. Okay, next up, let's talk about clothing and accessories for running. So when you run, you want to make sure you have running shoes. The shoes that I wear to run are those ones. Those are my Asics Nimbus gel shoes. Okay, so I would recommend getting yourself a really good, like a pair of really good running shoes. Okay, that's gonna help protect your joints, protect your feet, protect your knees, etc. Secondly is clothing. When you run, you need to be comfortable. You can't have your movement restricted. Secondly, you want to wear something that will keep you cool. That is super important in order to have a nice, comfortable run. If you start overheating during your run, you're going to dehydrate a lot faster, and this is going to make your run absolutely disgusting. You don't want to overheat, you don't want to get dehydrated when you run. You want to stay as cool as possible and you want to stay hydrated as well, okay? So the two things that make running harder, that make it suck, it makes it feel harder than it should be, is heat, okay, and dehydration. Both of these things basically reduce the amount of blood volume available to your muscles, okay, and when your blood volume is reduced, your heart has to pump a lot harder to move blood and oxygen around your body, okay, and this makes your run feels a lot harder, okay? So try to stay cool, which is why it's better to run in cooler weather as well, like cooler temperature as well. Try to stay cool and try to stay hydrated. I like to have an electrolyte drink before I run and after I run as well to replace those electrolyte drinks. Having an electrolyte drink will keep you hydrated, but it will keep your blood volume high as well, and that's going to make your run a lot, it's gonna feel a lot better. It's gonna feel you know, it's gonna keep your heart rate down, is what I'm saying. It's gonna help you stay in zone 2. The moment you start overheating and you get dehydrated, you're going to start going into zone 3 because your heart rate is going to go up. Okay, and like I said before, zone 3 doesn't feel comfortable. Okay, zone 3 feels a lot harder. It feels uncomfortable. So I did get a little bit excited with this video and I realized it's taking a little bit too long, so I am going to be covering how to stay injury free in the next video. So this is the end of this video here. I hope that you've enjoyed it and you found it useful. Please, if you've liked this video, give it a thumbs up, and please subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you can see the next video, which should be out very soon. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.